Welcome back to Cooking with Christy. I am Chef Christy Zabrowski. Today we're going to be making a confetti quinoa recipe. This recipe is really nice. It's versatile. You can have it for a lunch dish, you can have it for dinner, you can use it for just a side. The nice part is, as you can see, we're using a lot of fresh produce, most of which you can get at your local farmers market here in Canton from a variety of different vendors. So to start out, we're going to take 2 cups of cooked quinoa. For this recipe, I'm using red quinoa. You can use the red, white, or black. It doesn't matter. I just visually like to use the red for a nice little pop of color. So what we'll do is we'll take the 2 cups of quinoa and put it into our bowl. And then from here out, really all we have to do is chop up all of our beautiful produce ingredients. So to start, I'm going to take this red onion and dice it up. You could use a white onion too if you'd like. A lot of the vendors at the Canton Farmers Market have beautiful produce available, so make sure to stop by Canton Farmers Market to pick up your produce for this recipe. You can go to either Prohaska, Perrin's, or Zong's Produce to get many of these ingredients. The best part too is that when you buy locally and you go to your local farmers market to get these ingredients, you can talk with your farmer to see what kind of practices they use to grow their produce and other ingredients, so you have an awareness of what's going on with the food that you're eating. Next up, we're going to take a red pepper and just cut out the center there. And I'm only going to use about half of the pepper for this. So I'll just set these aside. And again, we'll just dice this up nice and easy. And add this to the bowl. Now, again, I'm using red bell pepper, but you can use your favorite colored pepper. I like the sweetness that the red bell pepper has to offer. Next, we're going to add in a tomato. For cutting tomatoes, I like to use a serrated blade. It's just a little bit easier. The serrated blade really helps to break through the skin of the tomato, so you don't get that resistance that sometimes you get when you initially cut into it. So I'll just set aside these parts that I'm not using and continue to dice this up. If you wanted to, also, you could use some cherry tomatoes, grape tomatoes, heirloom tomatoes. Again, we'll have many of these wonderful produce items available at the Canton Farmers Market. Next up, we will have this carrot. Carrots can be a little bit tricky to cut up because they're so tough. But what I like to do is start with a small section, turn it and make little planks. And from there, they're so much more stable, and you can turn it and cut it into nice, beautiful little cubes, so much easier than if you're trying to deal with the whole stick of carrot all at once. So julienne these, turn it, get your nice bunch together, and from there, just run your knife through, and it's that easy. And then the same thing goes for the celery. Cut off the ends that you don't want to use. Save those for stock if you'd like to, or put them in your compost. Again, take a small little section, julienne, and then slice and dice. Put those into the bowl. This recipe is great because, as you can see, it's filled with produce, so you're getting lots of nutrients. And then also with the quinoa, it's actually a seed, and it has a lot of protein in it as opposed to some other grains that you could use in this recipe. So again, it's just a nice, nice alternative, and it's also naturally gluten-free. So next, we're going to take some herbs. I have some basil here, so I'm just going to gently run my knife through this so that we make sure that we slice the basil and not smash it with your blade. So we'll add in the basil. And then I also have here sliced up some parsley and some chive. I like to add lots of fresh herbs into this dish so that way it just adds a lot of fresh, nice pot flavor. And then lastly, for the produce, I have some sliced cucumbers here, diced cucumbers that we'll add in. So, last but not least, we're going to make a quick little dressing. And what we have here is some beautiful olive oil from Stamatopoulos, and they're actually right out of Ann Arbor, and you can get this olive oil at the Canton Farmers Market as well. So just a really simple dressing of olive oil, so you get that nice, healthy, good fat. And then we'll take sea salt and some fresh cracked pepper. I always like to use fresh cracked pepper because the flavor is so much nicer than that pulverized stuff that you get out of the shaker. So we'll take this dressing, pour it over the top here. Gently toss it all together. Now if you wanted to turn this into a main course, you could certainly have some sauteed shrimp or chicken, or you could even stop by Steinhauser, another vendor who has some beautiful sausages. He's actually located right out of Ann Arbor, Michigan, and he has some beautiful meats. So you can keep it vegetarian like this. Actually, at this point, it's vegan. Or we can serve it up, take a little scoop, and if you'd like, you could add in just a little garnish of cheese. I'm using goat cheese. Zingerman's is another vendor that we have at the Canton Farmers Market, and they have some beautiful cheeses, so you could stop by and grab some cheese from Zingerman's, and there you have it. A beautiful, healthy, fresh, and nutritious confetti quinoa salad. Thanks for watching Cooking with Christy. We'll see you next time, and make sure to stop by the Canton Farmers Market to see us.